you get embarrassed. These were the words from my professor, not an enemy, not a heckler, my college professor. She leaned forward and put the bright red glasses further up her nose, and she repeated it again, slowly, deliberately, as if she wanted it to stick. I hope you get embarrassed, nervous, anxious, because that is where the good work begins. At 19, I was horrified. I had been practicing for months to make sure that I wouldn't be embarrassed. And here she was wishing it on me. And what did she mean by good work? What work could possibly be good enough to worth being risking embarrassment? That conversation in her office, sitting in a worn yellow chair, it marked me. Because from that moment on, I began to notice something. Every time we grow, every time we take a step forward in something meaningful, we also face uncertainty. Embarrassment is so much more than fumbling our words or that blush that rushes to our cheeks. It is our body saying that we're stepping outside of the norm. It's our whole system saying, hey, this is new, uncomfortable, unfamiliar. It's when your hands shake or your voice trembles and you have the instinct to shrink. But embarrassment isn't evidence that you're failing. It is evidence that you are becoming. And I have learned that the price of admission for a life of good work is the risk of embarrassment. And that good work is the work that changes us as we do it and changes others because we did. It's the choice we make to see and recognize that there may be some challenge, but choose meaning anyway. It's our decision to see what we really care about that we're willing to risk being seen. That price of admission for a life of good work comes with 3 tickets: exposure, expansion, and empathy. That first ticket, exposure, came under a literal spotlight. It was opening night, my biggest role to date. I was in the middle of my Shakespeare monologue, and then I blanked. I froze. And not a little moment, I completely forgot where I was. My co-lead's eyes were darting back and forth like a squirrel in headlights. Off to the side, I could see the stage manager trying to mouth the words. Slowly, the stage crew began to bring the scenery around me as if to say, yeah, she's done. I was devastated. I had practiced and prepared for that moment, and I still didn't show up in my full potential. That was my moment, and I had missed it. I could feel my confidence dripping out through the floor under those stage lights. But that night taught me something that I couldn't have learned any other way. Exposure reveals our edges. Embarrassment is like an X-ray. It strips away the performance and shows us what's real. And that moment taught me that the more we decide to step forward, even if we fumble and fail and make an attempt, it gives others permission to be real as well. And it was almost as if I could hear my professor saying, embarrassed yet? Good. Keep going. Now, the second ticket to a life of good work, expansion, came in a very different environment. It was Times Square, lights flashing, traffic going by, and I was on a date. I was having a wonderful time, and in that moment, right in front of the Cold Stone Creamery, I spun around and I kissed him. I couldn't believe I did that. It was spontaneous, spur of the moment, and of course, being New York, someone said, "Get it, girl!" I was so embarrassed. But underneath the embarrassment was another emotion: joy. Pure, unadulterated, unfiltered joy. I learned something in that moment. If we're not willing to risk embarrassment, we miss the opportunity to expand. Expansion isn't easy, doesn't feel comfortable, but it gives us the opportunity to see ourselves as we really are. And the first time you try anything, you have to face the risk of embarrassment. The first time you apply for that job that you're not 100% qualified for, but go after it anyway. The first time you say, I love you. The first time you speak up about that issue you care about, even if no one else responds. That choice we have to expand grows our courage and expands our life. But not every lesson was funny or romantic. Some lessons were downright painful. Several years ago, I was struck with seizures without warning. No medical history, had never experienced that before. I lost the ability to walk and talk. I went from leading others to literally gripping the rail at the hospital, struggling to take one step at a time. I felt trapped in my own body, and it was the most humiliating experience of my life. But I didn't stop. Step, stutter, stumble, fall. Wipe away the tears, get up, and try again. That season taught me something that I will never forget. Empathy, that third ticket to a life of good work, is born when we risk embarrassment and realize that others are taking that same risk as well, just in a different way. It softens us. It connects us. Embarrassment doesn't separate us. It reminds us that we are all fumbling forward together. And that is the deeper good work. It was in that moment that I learned that good work is the work that changes us as we do it, one stumbling step at a time, and changes others because we do. The more we resist the risk of embarrassment, the more we train ourselves to live small. The world doesn't need more perfect, polished people. It needs more present ones. Someone right now that you know in your family, your son or daughter, a friend, someone on your team, someone in your community is waiting for you to risk embarrassment, to give them that push, that permission to risk embarrassment as well. And the gift isn't to shield people from embarrassment. It's to show them what is worth being embarrassed for. That moment on the stage in the middle of my Shakespeare monologue under the spotlights, that exposure didn't end me. It was proof that my professor was right. That expansion, that kiss in the middle of Times Square, it expanded me beyond trying to be perfect and polished and just being present. And oh, that person that I kissed in Times Square, he's now my husband. And he's sitting here in the front row hearing this speech for the very first time. And the season where I learned that I couldn't walk or talk, it gave me an empathy to see humanity in others and the humility to realize that none of us should do life alone. Every calling, every comeback, every connection starts with the decision to risk embarrassment. That is the price of admission for a life of good work, the work that changes us as we do it and changes others because we did. So today, do your good work. Ask that question. Walk across the room and introduce yourself to that person. Publish that book. Write that song. Start that organization about that cause that you truly care about. Speak your truth. Make your move. Do it though your hands shake and your voice trembles. Do it anyway. Because that is the price of admission for a life of good work, a life of meaning. If we can show one person that over time, embarrassment fades, but meaning is what remains, we will have all done a good work indeed. It exposes us. It expands us. It reminds us that we are all connected through empathy. So today, as my professor said to me, and now I say to you, I hope you get embarrassed, because that is where your good work begins.